The following is a rebroadcast of Candlepin Stars and Strikes, featuring some of our most memorable recent programs. And be sure to join us in the fall for a brand new season of excitement on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Mike Morgan of Lynn, Mass. has won 3 matches in a row to start the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. After beating Paul Berger with a 4-12, Morgan roared back from 47 pins down to beat Scott Rondelli. And then last week, Morgan got off to a quick start with a 146, cruising in for win number 3 against Ed Arsenault. Today, Mike Morgan goes for 4 in a row against number 2 seed Bob Moran of Billerica. It's the semifinal match of the 1989 Tournament of Champions.
TV 50 Sports and the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association present Candlepin Stars and Strikes. From Park Place Lanes in Wyndham, it's the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
Gonna split it. Look at this.
Yes! Oh, wow! Right in the pocket.
My goodness.
Oh, there was never a doubt about that one.
Good looking ball.
Yes.
And now your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Park Place Lanes here in Wyndham, New Hampshire. This is week 4 of the 1989 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We're very glad you could be with us once again. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy. It's semifinal time. Mike Morgan has won 3 in a row, and we're down to 3 bowlers left now.
Well, standing in his way now, Bob Moran. The disappointing trend for Mike, maybe. He started with 412, down to 396, down to 372 last week. I don't know.
Well, he's still getting the wins, and that's all that's important up till now. We'll see if we can get 4 in a row. Let's meet the bowlers real quickly now. First of all, from Lynn, Massachusetts, if you've been watching the tournament, you know all about this guy. He's won 3 times in a row. That's Mike Morgan.
And certainly has. He's won all ways. He's had a very close match with Paul Berger. Scott Rondelli, he was way behind, came back. And last week he had a pretty easy time with Ed Arsenault. Carries an average of 123, and he qualified for the show, of course, with a 397 3-string total.
And his opponent today will be our number 2 seed from Billerica, Massachusetts, Bob Moran, who qualified for the Tournament of Champions with a 411, just 1 pin behind Pat Pay in the top spot.
One of the first ones to qualify for the show, and he averaged also 123, and he has a high triple of 497. He qualified for the show, as you said, with a 411.
We've recycled the bonus ball contest once again. We've had 2 winners in a row the last 2 weeks, so we're at $10. We'll also be going for that a little bit later on in the show. $400 to the runner-up of this match. The winner gets a chance at the $1,500 next week against Pat Pay in our championship match. 3 strings of bowling coming up between Mike Morgan and Bob Moran right after these words. So far, it's been the Mike Morgan story here on the Tournament of Champions, brought to you by Tri-State Megabucks. He beat Paul Berger in the first match of this series, then Scott Rondelli, and then last week Ed Arsenault with the decreasing scores, but still getting the wins. And last week was a relatively easy one compared to the first 2. Today, Bob Moran is the challenger, and Mike Morgan will get us started once again on lane 32. Mike, the number 5 seed coming into this Tournament of Champions, but here he is in the semifinal. We wondered about the possibility of somebody perhaps going all the way in this series. It's very difficult with this competition. But Mike has put 3 in a row together so far.
Would be kind of ironic because we've only had one other bowler, am I correct? And that was the very first ladder that we had on Stars and Strikes, that somebody came from the last spot.
Coming back for the strike.
And boy, have we got a crowd. Opening strike off the ball of Mike Morgan. And you see it, 5 goes and then the 2.
Sooner or later, one of us is going to say Mike Moran or Bob Morgan.
Well, I wouldn't have until you mentioned it.
Right on it. Spare on strike in the first 2 for Mike Morgan.
Right back at him. Right back at him.
And now Bob Moran. And watch out, he'll leave a 5-pin.
Right on it now, right on it. Right on it,
Spare it up in the first for Bob Moran. Bob from Billerica, Massachusetts.
Both bowlers have a lot of supporters here.
Yes. Bob's will be singing later, probably.
Yes, we mentioned that last week.
Get up, come on.
Coming back.
First 7 fill.
1, 3, and 8 pins left.
Bob earned his way here back in November when he beat Pat Pay, Dave Cromie, and Dan Broder in consecutive weeks.
Oh, yes. Nice shot, and the bowlers are perfect so far. Strike spare for Mike Morgan, 2 spares for Bob Moran. You see the replay, just nudging over that 3-pin.
Oh, big first ball from Mike Morgan. He leaves the solid 10-pin.
Could have been 3 strikes in a row. Could have, should have, would have, you know, all those. All it means is a 9 fill on the spare, and he's looking at the 10-pin to make it 3 in a row. No.
Nope. Still there. Of the 6 bowlers who qualified for the Tournament of Champions, 2 had to win 3 matches to get here. Paul Berger did it, and Bob Moran did it. Ed Arsenal won 2 matches in his ladder championship to get here. Mike Morgan, Scott Rondelli, and Pat Pay each came in as the #1 seed and were able to win that 1 match to get here.
4 horsemen to the right, 1, 3, 6, and 10, with some help in behind the 1, 3, and 6. He's got a good shot if he's on the head pin. Oh.
Everything but the 10.
So the 10 pin early in the match has been a nemesis for Mike Morgan. Missed it for a spare, and that one looked like he hit it. 10 pin remained, 58 through 4.
Bob Moran to step up on a spare here in the second. Bob does a lot of his bowling at the Leda lanes in Nashua and also at the Bowlaway lanes in Burlington, Mass.
Which sounds like it's on the other side of the world, but it's just down the pike a little ways.
Oh, big strike on spare, and Bob Moran is off to a big start.
Brooklyn side crosses over, but he's nice and tight. 3/4 on that head pin, trips the 6 and the 7 pins for a strike on spare and 3 in a row.
Bob works as a business line coordinator for Textron Defense Systems. He will take the lead in the match on this ball. He's working on a strike, remember. Actually may have given him a break that 3-pin stayed up.
He's going to shoot directly at that 3-pin and try to move the wood around for the 7, 9, and 10.
Yes!
Yes, and 4 in a row.
The 3-pin definitely helped. It was the 3-pin that went over and got the 7. Four marks in a row for Bob Moran to start the match. We'll take a look from behind. Mike Morgan right into the pocket. You could see the flight of that ball all the way down, and he just buried it. He deserved better than the 5-7, but he does have a favorable piece of wood.
I think he's got to be careful of is having the wood next to the 5 slide into the wood in front of the 7 and leave the 7-pin. No problem. Spare up in the 5th. Really, the bowlers have had shots on every single, there you see the replay, every single box could have been marks. Oh, big break there.
9 more, and again, it's the 10 pin. A 77.5 for Mike Morgan, and it won't be good enough.
Well, he's got to be thinking about this. He just missed this pin for a spare back in the 3rd frame. Not this time.
Not at all. Right on top of it for that spare. And he needed those, the way Bob Moran is going. Oh, another big one. Look out.
Oh, 5 in a row. Strike on spare. And again, he's picking on that 1-2 pocket. You see the ball spinning and finally starts to break a little bit, but solidly in the 1-2 pocket, strike on spare. 77 through 4, the strike up in the 5th.
Double up, Dad, double up.
Let's see, he's right there again. This time, the 5-7-8. Bob thought he had a better result coming than that.
I thought so too, because his ball breaks from right to left, so you figure the 1-3 pocket really should be the pocket that he wants to hit. But he's got a makeable spare, 5-8 in the 7 pin. Looks good.
Yes!
Good, off the wall.
97.5 for Bob Moran with a spare up in the 6th.
I knew he would travel the 8. He probably wanted to catch a little more of that wood. It would have went a little quicker, but he still had a good shot at it. So he's perfect through 6.
Mike Morgan is on a spare.
Mike's going to try to weather the storm right now. Try to keep pace.
And he's got another spare opportunity. It'll be an 8 drop, leaving the 3-6. What a string these two guys are having.
Scary, isn't it?
We have only 3 bowlers left in the Tournament of Champions. Oh, and Mike misses. These two and Pat Pay will split $2,500 in prize money among them, with $1,500 going to the overall winner.
.105 through 7. Bob Moran has 107 through 6 already. Oh, big
baby.
strike.
Second one of the string for Mike Morgan. He had one in the 1st.
Boy, scrambled him up there for a strike, and it just was very close to strike on spare, because that 8 pin, he hit the 3 pin, which is the object pin, just a little too full. Otherwise, he would have 4 in a row.
Bob Moran is on a spare. He has 6 marks in a row to start the match.
Yeah!
Boy, I'll
There's the
tell you
1-3
what.
pocket.
Wow. He's been getting them 20 at a time. Not that time, but a single pin for a mark.
He's going to have a clear shot at the 10 pin for 7 marks in a row. Oh, 7 in a row.
He couldn't have been any more accurate if he'd walked down there and tipped it over.
Hammer this time, hammer, come on.
7 in a row.